Help me reach 5,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. The kitchen smelled of burnt toast and stale coffee, a Tuesday evening ritual I'd come to dread. I was at the counter, scrolling through emails on my phone, trying to ignore the tension that had settled into our house like dust. Laura walked in, her heels clicking on the hardwood, her purse hitting the table with a thud that felt like a challenge. She didn't look at me, just went for the wine fridge, pulling out a bottle of Pinot Grigio that cost more than my weekly gas budget. Long day, I asked, keeping my voice neutral. I was trying to start something, anything, to break the ice that had been forming for months. She poured a glass, took a long sip, and leaned against the counter, her eyes flicking over me like I was a piece of furniture. "You're still here," she said, her tone half mocking. "Thought you'd be at the shop, fixing someone's muffler." I set my phone down, feeling the tightening in my chest. "Trying to talk to you, Laura. Been a while since we actually connected. Things feel cold lately. You noticing that too?" She laughed, sharp and short, like a blade. "Cold. Mark, if you want warmth, go book a spa day. I'm not your personal heater." The words hit hard, not just for their dismissiveness, but for the way she said them, like my feelings were a punchline. I waited for her to soften it, to add something to show she cared, but she just sipped her wine, her eyes daring me to push back. I stood up, grabbed my keys, and headed for the door. "All right," I said, my voice steady. "I'll find my own warmth." "Where are you going?" she called, a hint of irritation breaking through her cool facade. "Out," I said, not turning around. "Don't wait up." The door clicked shut behind me, and I felt the weight of it. If I'd filed that night, I would have saved myself a couple months of nonsense. I didn't. That was on me. I ended up at O'Malley's, a dive bar a few blocks from Greystone Auto, my repair shop. The place was quiet for a Tuesday, just a few regulars nursing beers and watching a muted Phillies game. Tom, the bartender and my oldest friend, was wiping down the counter. He's a big guy, ex-Marine, with a laugh that shakes the room and a knack for calling things as he sees them. "Rough one?" he asked, sliding a bourbon my way without me asking. I took a sip, let it burn. "Laura just told me to go to a spa when I said things were cold at home. Like I'm whining about the AC." Tom snorted, shaking his head. "She's got a way of twisting the knife, doesn't she? What's her deal lately?" I leaned back, swirling the glass. "Same as always. She wants control, but she dresses it up as a joke. I'm done chasing her for a real conversation." Tom set the rag down, his eyes narrowing. "You've been trying to fix this for what, a year? Where's your line, Mark? How much do you take before you say enough?" I didn't answer right away, feeling the question hit. A regular, Pete, a grizzled guy in his 60s with a faded Eagles cap, chimed in from the end of the bar. "There's no line, Tom. Women like that push till you break. My ex did the same. Took me 20 years to figure out I should have walked sooner." I glanced at Pete, half annoyed, half amused. "Not looking for advice, Pete. Just a drink." He shrugged, raising his beer. "Suit yourself. But you're looking at a guy who learned the hard way." Tom leaned closer, his voice low. "Pete's got a point, even if he's a loudmouth. I went through it with my first wife. She'd push, I'd bend, and it never stopped. You got a plan, or are you just going to keep taking her hits?" I took another sip, thinking it over. My plan's to stop playing her game. She wants to push, fine. I'm not begging for respect anymore. Pete chuckled, shaking his head. "That's half the battle. But you gotta draw a line, kid. Somewhere she can't cross. What's yours?" I looked at him, then at Tom. "Disrespect. She crosses that. I'm done. No second chances." Tom nodded, a slow grin spreading. "That's the Mark I know. So what's next? You gonna talk to her again, or?" "No second to ask," I said, my voice firm. "I'm done talking. She'll see what's next when it happens." Pete raised his glass. "Cold, man. I like it." I didn't smile. I wasn't here to perform. But the conversation stuck with me. I wasn't just reacting. I was already thinking about my next move. Laura didn't know it yet, but her grip was slipping. The next morning, I was up at 6, coffee brewing, laptop open. I logged into our joint account, something I hadn't done in months. The balance was a gut punch, $2,300, down from $15,000 a few months ago. I scrolled through the transactions. Designer bags, spa weekends, a wellness retreat in Napa I didn't even know about. Laura hadn't worked in years. Not since she quit her ad agency job to focus on herself. My paycheck was keeping us afloat, and she was spending it like it grew on trees. When she came downstairs, she was in her usual work-from-home getup. Yoga pants, a silk blouse, hair perfect like she was about to film a commercial. "You're up early," she said, grabbing a mug. "What's got you so focused?" I turned the laptop toward her. Our account's nearly empty. Care to explain?" Her eyes flicked to the screen, then back to me. No flinch, no shame. Just that smirk, sharp as ever. "Oh, Mark, don't be dramatic. I've got it under control. You don't need to play accountant." "Under control?" I kept my voice even, my hands steady on the table. "You're spending my money faster than I can make it." Her laugh was colder now. "Your money? Last I checked, we're a team, honey. Or are you keeping score now?" That was the line. I didn't shout. "If you want money, Laura, go earn it. I'm done funding your lifestyle." Her face froze, the smirk slipping. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means I'm splitting the accounts today," I said, standing up. "You want to live like a queen, you cover it yourself." Her voice sharpened, chasing me as I headed for the door. "Mark, you can't just walk away from this. You're blowing this out of proportion." I turned, meeting her gaze. "You spent 15 grand in 3 months. That's not a proportion. That's a problem." She stepped closer, her tone shifting to accusation. "So what, you're punishing me? Because I bought a few things? You're acting like I'm stealing." "Not stealing," I said. "Taking. Without asking. Without caring. I'm done with it." Her eyes narrowed, her voice dropping to a softer, almost pleading tone. "Mark, come on. We're married. We're supposed to share everything. You're making me feel like I'm the bad guy here." I didn't bite. "You're not the bad guy, Laura. You're just not my partner anymore." She flinched, but rallied fast. "You're being ridiculous. You think you can just cut me off? What am I supposed to do? Get a job?" I said, my voice flat. "Or figure it out. I'm not your bank." I walked out, her voice trailing after me, sharp and indignant. "Mark, this isn't over. You can't do this to me." But I was already gone, heading to the bank. No second ask. No chasing. Just action. Splitting the accounts took an hour. By noon, I had my own checking and savings, my direct deposit rerouted. Laura's name was off everything that mattered. I didn't touch her personal account. Fair's fair, but I wasn't going to let her bleed me dry while she laughed it off. When I got home, she was waiting at the dining table, arms crossed, her face a mask of controlled fury. "You actually did it," she said, her voice low, almost impressed. "You split the accounts." "Yup," I said, grabbing a water from the fridge. "Told you I would." She leaned forward, her eyes narrowing. "So what? Now we're roommates? You're punishing me for spending our money." "Not punishing," I said, meeting her gaze. "Protecting. You want to play fast and loose, that's on you. I'm making sure I've got something left." Her lips twitched, like she was fighting a smile. "You're so petty, Mark. This is about last night, isn't it? The spa thing? God, you're sensitive." I didn't take the bait. "Call it what you want. I'm done subsidizing your ego." She stood up, her chair scraping the floor. "You're making this bigger than it is. We're fine. You're just overreacting." "Am I?" I stepped closer, my voice calm but firm. "You've been rewriting the rules for months, Laura. The snide comments, the spending, the way you shut me down when I try to talk. I'm not overreacting. I'm done playing." She didn't have a comeback for a moment, a rare crack in her armor. Then she tilted her head, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Oh, poor Mark. Always the victim. You think I'm the problem? Maybe look in the mirror." I kept my eyes on hers. "I've looked. I see a guy who's done being your ATM." Her face tightened, and she switched tactics, her voice softening. "Mark, come on. You're blowing this up. I didn't mean to upset you. Can't we just talk this out?" "Talk," I said, my voice steady. "You don't talk, Laura. You dictate. I'm done listening." She stepped closer, her eyes flashing with anger. "You're abandoning me. After everything I've done for us. You think you can just cut me off and walk away?" "You've done plenty," I said. "Spending my money, making me the punchline. I'm not abandoning you. I'm letting you stand on your own." Her voice rose, a hint of desperation creeping in. "Stand on my own? Mark, I don't even have a job because I stayed home for us. You're leaving me with nothing." I didn't flinch. "You chose to stay home. You chose to spend like it's endless. Now you choose what's next. I'm out." She stared, her mouth opening, then closing. "You'll regret this." she said finally, her voice low. You're making a mistake. I grabbed my jacket and headed for the garage. No, Laura. I'm fixing one. I had a job to finish at the shop, and I wasn't wasting another word on her games. Greystone Auto was my sanctuary. The shop smelled of oil and rubber, the radio blaring Springsteen over the hum of the lift. Javier, my lead mechanic, was elbow deep in a busted transmission. He's a wiry guy, mid-30s, with a quick laugh and a sharper tongue. You look like you ate a lemon, he said, wiping his hands on a rag. Wife trouble. I snorted, grabbing a wrench. When isn't it? He grinned, but his eyes were serious. She's still giving you grief? Grief's one word for it, I said, sliding under a car. She thinks she can spend my money and talk to me like I'm her assistant. I cut her off today. Javier whistled low. Ballsy. How'd she take it? Like I declared war. I tightened a bolt, feeling the resistance. She'll get over it. Or she won't. I'm not bending. He tossed me a rag, leaning against the car. You know, my old man went through this with my mom. She'd push him, see how far she could go. He let it slide too long, ended up broke and miserable. You're doing the right thing, man. Don't let her walk over you. I nodded, appreciating the weight of his words. Not planning on it. Just then, a client walked in. Mrs. Henderson, a retired schoolteacher who drove a beat-up Corolla and always paid in cash. She spotted me under the car and called out. Mark, you fixing my baby yet? I need her by Friday. Javier laughed, answering for me. He's on it, Mrs. H. But he's got bigger problems than your alternator. I slid out, wiping my hands. Don't listen to him. Your car's ready tomorrow. She raised an eyebrow, her voice teasing. Problems? You? Thought you had everything under control. I smirked, tossing the rag back to Javier. Working on it. The shop was my space, my rules. Laura didn't get to dictate terms here. That gave me an idea. I'd been spending too much time at home, playing her game on her turf. Time to shift the board. That afternoon, I restructured the shop's schedule, taking myself off weekend shifts. No more Sunday brunches where Laura would nitpick my manners or forget to include me in plans. No more playing the dutiful husband for her audience. If she wanted to play cold, I'd give her space to feel it. Javier noticed me scribbling the new schedule. What's this? You going on vacation or something? Nah, I said, pinning the paper to the board. Just making sure I've got time for what matters. Laura can handle her own weekends. He grinned, shaking his head. You're a cold bastard, Mark. I like it. The neighborhood barbecue at the Millers was a week later. Their backyard was packed, kids screaming, burgers sizzling, a Bluetooth speaker blasting Springsteen. I was talking shop with Dave Miller, a retired cop with a dry sense of humor, when Laura sauntered over, a glass of rose in hand, her smile all teeth. Mark, you're boring Dave to death, she said, loud enough to turn heads. Not everyone cares about carburetors. Dave chuckled, waving it off. I'm good, Laura. Let him talk. But she wasn't done. She leaned in, her voice dripping with mock pity. Oh, come on, Dave. You don't have to humor him. He's just trying to sound important. The air shifted. A few neighbors glanced over, sensing drama. Ellen, a nosy retiree who lived 2 houses down, piped up from her lawn chair. Oh, Laura, let him have his moment. Not everyone's into your yoga retreats. A few people laughed, but Laura's smile didn't waver. She was testing me, right here in public, thinking she could make me squirm. She was wrong. I set my beer down, slow and deliberate. Laura, if you're bored, you don't have to stay. I'm sure there's a spa somewhere with your name on it. Her smile faltered. Dave coughed into his drink, and Ellen let out a loud ha. Mike, a tech bro who always kissed up to Laura, jumped in. Come on, Mark, she's just joking. Lighten up. I turned to Mike, my voice steady. Joking's fine. Disrespect isn't. She knows the difference. Bill, a quiet retiree who rarely spoke at these things, nodded from the grill. Man's got a point. Respect goes both ways. Ellen scoffed, folding her arms. Oh, please, Bill. Laura's just having fun. You men are so sensitive. The yard went quiet. Laura's face tightened, but she didn't fire back. She couldn't, not without looking like the villain. I turned back to Dave, picked up my beer, and said, So, about that carburetor. Dave grinned, clapping me on the shoulder. You're all right, Mark. The conversation moved on, but the message was clear. I wasn't her punching bag anymore. In the car, Laura was fuming. You embarrassed me today, she said, her voice sharp. In front of everyone. You embarrassed yourself, I said, keeping my eyes on the road. I just didn't let it slide. You're making me the villain, she snapped. All I did was make a joke. A joke? I glanced at her, my voice steady. You've been taking shots at me for months. In private, fine. But in public? That's a choice, Laura. And choices have consequences. She crossed her arms, staring out the window. You're going to regret this, Mark. You think you can just shut me out. I'm not shutting you out, I said. I'm opting out. There's a difference. She turned, her voice softening, that fake sweetness creeping in. Mark, come on. Let's just go home, have a glass of wine, talk this out. We don't need to do this. I didn't look at her. No second to ask, Laura. You heard me. That night, I moved my clothes to the guest room. No announcement, no argument. Just action. If she wanted to keep pushing, she'd do it without me in her orbit. The guest room became my base. It wasn't about comfort, it was about control. Laura didn't get to dictate my space anymore. I started cooking for myself, eating out, or grabbing takeout. No more shared meals, no more playing house. She noticed, of course. Her fake sweetness came out in full force. One evening, I came home to find her in the kitchen, wearing one of my old t-shirts, her hair down, a glass of wine in hand. Hey, she said, her voice soft, almost seductive. I made dinner. Thought we could talk. I saw through it. She was trying to reel me back in. I'm good, I said, grabbing a water. Got plans. Her smile tightened. Plans? Mark, come on. I'm trying to make this work. Work? I set the water down, looking her in the eye. You don't want to make this work. You want your life back. The one where I pay for everything and take your crap with a smile. Her face hardened. That's not fair. I'm your wife, Mark. We're supposed to be a team. Teams don't have captains, I said. You've been calling the shots for too long. I'm done. She stepped closer, her voice dropping. You're really going to throw away 12 years over this? I'm not throwing anything away, I said. You did that. I walked out, leaving her standing there, her act crumbling. The next day, I met my sister, Claire, for coffee at a diner near her law firm. She's a no-nonsense lawyer, 5 years older, with a knack for cutting through bullshit. She stirred her coffee, eyeing me over the rim. Laura called me, she said. Says you're acting like a stranger. What's going on? I leaned back, crossing my arms. She's been running the show for years. The snide comments, the spending, the control. I split the accounts, moved to the guest room. She's not happy, but I'm done being her doormat. Claire nodded, her eyes sharp. Good. She's been playing you like a fiddle. You should have done this sooner. Maybe, I said, but I'm doing it now. She leaned forward, lowering her voice. You thinking divorce? Because she's not going to stop, Mark. Women like Laura don't change, they double down. You need a plan. The word hit like a brick, but I didn't flinch. I'm thinking I'm done letting her call the shots. Divorce might be next, but I'm not rushing. I'm just making sure she knows I'm serious. Claire sipped her coffee, nodding. Smart. Start documenting everything. Her spending, her comments. If it goes legal, you'll need it. And don't let her charm you back. She's good at that. I smirked. Not this time. That weekend, I made another move. Laura's parents, Ed and Diane, had a standing Sunday dinner at their place in the suburbs. It was one of Laura's sacred rituals, her chance to play the perfect daughter and wife. I'd always gone along, sitting through Ed's golf stories and Diane's passive-aggressive digs about my grease monkey job. Not anymore. On Friday, I texted Diane, can't make Sunday. Work thing came up. Have fun. No explanation, no follow-up. When Laura saw the message, she was still on the group chat. She cornered me in the kitchen, her parents on speakerphone. You're skipping my parents' dinner? Laura asked, her voice sharp. You know how important that is. I shrugged, pouring coffee. I've got plans. You'll manage. Ed's voice crackled through the phone. Mark, what's this about? You've never missed a Sunday. A man's got responsibilities to his family. I leaned against the counter, keeping my tone even. Responsibilities go both ways, Ed. I'm handling mine. Diane chimed in, her voice dripping with guilt. Mark, we've always counted on you. Laura needs you there. What will people think? People. I said, my voice steady. I'm not here for your neighbor's gossip, Diane. I'm done playing the good son-in-law. Laura's eyes narrowed. You're doing this to spite me. You know how much this means to my family. Your family, I said, meeting her gaze. Not mine. You want a family dinner? Host it yourself. Ed's voice rose. Now hold on, Mark. A husband supports his wife. That's how it works. Not when she doesn't support him, I said. I'm not your prop, Laura. Or yours, Ed. Diane gasped. Mark, that's uncalled for. We've treated you like our own. Then act like it, I said. Respect me. Or don't expect me at your table. Laura slammed her phone down, ending the call. You're unbelievable. My parents will think you're abandoning us. Let them, I said. I'm not your show pony anymore. I walked out, leaving her fuming. That Sunday, I spent the day at the shop, helping Javier with a rush job. It felt good to be in my space, on my terms. A few days later, Laura upped the ante. I came home to find her hosting a girls' night in our living room. Her friends, Karen, a loud realtor with a fake laugh, and Sarah, a quiet accountant who never took sides, were sprawled on the couch, wine glasses in hand. Laura was in rare form, laughing too loud, her eyes flicking to me as I walked in. Mark, you're home, she said, her voice syrupy. Come join us. Tell my friends how you're restructuring our marriage. Karen giggled, leaning forward. Oh, this sounds juicy. What's the deal, Mark? You playing hard to get? Sarah shifted uncomfortably, her eyes darting between us. Laura, maybe we should. No. Laura cut her off, her smile sharp. Mark's got something to say, right? Or are you too busy playing martyr? I set my bag down, looking at her. The room went quiet. Laura, I said, slow and clear. You want to air our business, that's your call. But don't expect me to play along. I'm done performing for you. Karen smirked, swirling her wine. Wow, Mark, dramatic much? Laura's just having fun. Fun. I turned to Karen, my voice steady. Disrespect isn't fun. You'd know that if you weren't cheering her on. Sarah spoke up, her voice soft but firm. Guys, come on. This isn't the place. Let's just. No, I said, cutting her off gently. It's exactly the place. Laura thinks she can make this a show. I'm not her audience. Laura leaned forward, her voice sharp. You're embarrassing me, Mark. In front of my friends. You're embarrassing yourself, I said. You want to play games? Do it without me. Karen laughed, but it was forced. Lighten up, Mark. It's just girls' night. Then enjoy it, I said, grabbing my bag. I'm out. I headed upstairs, packed a duffel, and called Tom from the hallway. Got a couch I can crash on for a few days? Always, he said, no questions asked. I stayed at Tom's for a week, long enough to clear my head and make a plan. I wasn't running, I was drawing the line. Laura called 4 times, left 3 voicemails. I didn't listen. No second ask. She knew where I stood. When I went back to the house, it was to pack. Laura was in the living room, her laptop open, her face unreadable. So you're back, she said, not looking up. Done with your tantrum? I set my bag down. I'm here to pack. I'm moving out. Her head snapped up, her eyes wide. Moving out? Mark, you can't just. I can't, I said, cutting her off. And I am. You've been calling the shots for too long. The jabs, the spending, the games. I'm done. You want control? You've got it. Over your own life. She stood up, her hands clenched. You're going to regret this. You'll come crawling back when you realize what you're losing. I started packing, ignoring her. She switched tactics, her voice softening. Mark, please. Let's talk. We can fix this. I'll cut back. I'll try harder. Don't throw away 12 years. I kept packing, not looking at her. You don't want to fix this, Laura. You want your life back. The one where I pay for everything. Her face twisted, anger breaking through. You think you can just walk away? I gave up my career for you, Mark. I stayed home. I kept this house together. And now you're leaving me with nothing? I stopped, looked her in the eye. You didn't give up anything. You chose what you wanted. And now you've got it. She stepped closer, her voice low and sharp. You'll be sorry, Mark. You think you can do better? You'll be alone, broke, and miserable. I didn't flinch. Better alone than your doormat. Her eyes flashed with panic. Mark, wait. I didn't mean it. I'm scared. I need you. We can work this out. No, I said, zipping my bag. You need my money. That's not the same thing. She grabbed my arm, her voice trembling. I sacrificed everything for you. My job, my dreams. You owe me. I pulled away, my voice steady. You sacrificed nothing. You spent my money and called it love. I'm done. The doorbell rang. It was a delivery guy, dropping off a package. He glanced at us, sensing the tension, and mumbled, just need a signature. I signed, handed it back, and turned to Laura. You'll hear from my lawyer. She stared, her face pale. Mark, you can't do this. You're ruining everything. No, I said, picking up my bag. You did that. Good luck. I walked out, her voice echoing behind me, but I didn't turn around. The door closed, and I was free. 6 months later, I'm in a one-bedroom near the shop. It's small, but it's mine. I've got my routines: coffee at the diner, work at the shop, beers with Tom and Javier on Fridays. Laura's still in the house, last I heard, struggling to keep up her lifestyle on her own. She called once, a month after I left, but I didn't pick up. No second ask. Claire's handling the paperwork. It's clean, no drama. I don't want Laura's money or her guilt. I want my life back, and I've got it. The shop's thriving. Javier's talking about buying in as a partner. Tom's planning a poker night, says I owe him for the couch. Life's not perfect, but it's honest. And that's enough.